Real life street stars, man. We are back like
Once
we never
again, it's
left.
on.
Once again, it's on. First and foremost, we have to say this: the one and only Jaguar Wright back on the couch, back on whether in person in VR or however you want to look at it. We got her back. Jag, we have to start off by just saying, you know, we didn't expect for your reaction to the Diddy documentary to be as not only well received but as needed and wanted as we thought it was gonna be. For it to do 1 million views within, I want to say, a few days. First of all, what was your thought as far as within processing that many people were waiting to hear your reaction to this documentary?
Honestly, I don't have one. I'm trying not to have reactions these days. I'm trying not to be um, influenced by anything that's going on. But what I will say is clearly people were interested in hearing my opinion.
There you go. Don't know what your expectations was, but as you see, uh, you know, your voice has rung bells throughout not only the industry. We had to me, a great conversation about a lot of things that happened, but
In some
uh,
places,
in some places, other places it went another way.
well,
Um,
no, other places it's like I don't even exist.
oh wow, I don't know what places that. Where's that? What the hell?
Some
I don't
some
know.
some off the beaten path streets in the YouTube verse, and it's just
Mm,
it gets I get very interested when I see people who avoid talking about me.
that is interesting. When the ones that actually go out their way to avoid speaking your name is it's
Yeah,
interesting.
and the ones who go too far.
Um, with that being said,
Yeah.
uh, we have to say, let's just kick it off like this. A lot of commentary was, and I hate that we didn't speak on it when you first came on screen last time, but the shirt you chose to wear. Let's just start with that at that time. Because honestly, me myself, I didn't even see or read the shirt until we were done. And I'm like, I missed the whole talking piece. So if you don't mind, for those who don't know, can you, I'm sure 1 million people seen it, but can you reiterate what that shirt was, what came about it, how quickly was it created? Um, Please take us there.
I love when I say nothing and it just says it all. God said no. T-shirts are available on my site. Feel free to grab yourself one. It started out in my lives that I do on my channel. And it's just really simple. God said no. And we decided to do our own little interesting interpolation of the bad boy emblem. And got the little bad boy baby in the jail, mad as hell. And yeah, yeah,
It-
yeah,
Diddy had said in the documentary, he had said, I'm doing what God told me to do.
yeah, yeah.
So he was basically saying his actions were ordained by our Father, and he that kind of basically over law and man gave him the okay to do technically what he felt was right. Um,
And
with the
yeah,
shirt,
God said no.
yeah, yeah, right. So with the shirt itself, God said no. Um, do you feel like after, because this, of course, that video was made prior to his, the verdict and things of that nature. Do you
Mhm.
feel like he himself would be on the same thought process that you know, God is still telling him to, do as he is, do as he moves. Of course, God is telling everyone to do it, but for him to be able to have that same conviction on that video, do you think he'll be on the same motion as of now?
Well, see, that's the thing. It all depends on who you call God. I know some little weirdo who's on the cover of Forbes for, being a faithful servant. to the God that he serves. He calls himself a God. I know plenty of people that say the word God, but just because you say the word God doesn't mean we're all serving the same entity. The question is who's serving the right God?
Hey, that's
That's the
real.
real question. You know, I've been having conversations about this very interesting, back tattoo, which is an abomination in itself. Zoe Dantor, I was just talking to everyone about how he pretty much turned it into a demonic symbol, and he's been pimping that whole thing because for those who know the Orishas, that particular Orisha is supposed to be the protector of women and children.
Mm, wow.
Why would someone like him have that tattooed on his back? You know,
Well,
it's like seeing somebody from the Aryan Nation with like one of those like overly dramatic Calvary crosses tattooed over their whole spine, like their whole back. Like when people start playing with God, it gets really interesting.
definitely, without question. And the conversation we want to have now is that there was some. I believe we left a lot of meat on the bone regarding. We left a lot of meat on the bone with regarding our first conversation, and I know you had notes. Before we even start asking any additional questions, I want to get to just even the things that you want to speak on first. Were there some things that you want to address about that documentary that we never even brought up? Are there some things you would like to discuss as you want the people to know from your taking from that documentary?
Well, what I'll say is let's get into the questions. Let's get into finishing that conversation up. I guess the only thing that I have to say is I hope that people have been paying attention to what's going on. I'm finishing up because I did my own reaction on the Jaguar Wright Uncensored podcast. I did commentary on every episode. So, and I'm doing a conclusion, um, since people are so interested in my opinion and my point of view. I'm pointing out a lot of things, and it's wild because since last we talked, there are other commentators that are here on YouTube that are now doing their own versions of reactions to the video. One in particular, and it's so funny that they keep putting this weirdo out there. I call him the Black Christopher Lloyd because that's how he looks to me. The older he gets, the weirder he gets, and the more feminine his voice gets. That guy Touré,
Oh, that's a Black Christopher Lloyd. I'm trying to picture it. Damn.
yeah, yeah. The second that I say it, it instantly hits, right?
God, no comment. But wait a minute. Wait, Jack.
Back to the future.
You- you-
So anyway, he started doing this video about why you shouldn't trust the documentary. And it's wild because I don't know if anybody's paying attention to the fact that almost every Diddy documentary that's out, he's in it.
he is. He wasn't
Yeah.
in this one though.
Huh? Oh no, he was in this one.
Oh, he was. You're correct. You are correct.
He
He
was
was.
in this one. He was sitting there smiling with a shit-eating grin while Diddy is sitting there telling him that he is the gold standard of black excellence and how he's writing the price point for our people. And he's just so happy to be there and listen to this demon run his face when he knows exactly what's going on. And it's really wild because I was listening not long, actually during the trial, he did a whole video calling me a liar and telling people why they shouldn't believe me. And he uses the same style of disinformation. It's like very interesting. Like he's got a style when he's doing
Definitely.
his disinformation, when he's trying to get people to unbelieve what they saw with their own eyes. Now, he did bring up some really interesting points when he was talking about what's his name?
The Biggie part.
Yeah, when he was talking about, well, no, the shooting at Quad
Okay.
Studios.
Yeah. Go ahead.
What's his
Yes.
name? What's the guy's name? Jimmy
Jimmy
the
Henchman.
Henchman.
Jimmy
Yeah,
Henchman.
when he
Yes.
was bringing up Jimmy Henchman and all of this and all of that. And it's so funny because everything that he's saying is true, except for he left out one key part. Jimmy the Henchman did plenty of business with Diddy. Not just Diddy. I can think of a couple other rappers he did some dirty work for as well. And it's just so funny that he decided to start off by saying, "Oh, see, this was wrong, and they tried to get you to believe this, and they tried to get you to believe that," except for that connecting part. And then the simple fact that you have KPD saying that he was contracted to handle up. So clearly, we're talking about the kind of situations where someone is using someone by proxy to handle their business for them. Now, of course, all of this is alleged. KPD, it's really strange. KPD, I'll never forget because I went out to Vegas to cover his trial. I had a press pass. I was going to be in there the whole 9 yards, but they kept pushing everything back and pushing everything back. And then he got attacked, just like Tory Lanez did, and then everything went all to hell. Isn't it wild that he's been in there since 2023 and we're still waiting for his trial to come up in 2026? Puff didn't get pinched until a year after him and managed to get to trial and get through trial and get sentenced and get to serving his time before KPD. KPD been sentenced since 2023.
He must not have the right to a speedy. They must have skipped that part.
Right to a speedy trial. I remember when I first got out there and he couldn't get a pay lawyer to represent him. He was dealing with a public defender. I rode in the elevator with a public defender twice. And he had money. Nobody would take his case.
Wow.
The word literally went out into the street to not take his case, to leave him in the hands of the system. So, I thought that that was kind of interesting. And then he was bringing up a bunch of other crap. And
real life.